is Veronica Whitley. I'm a Homeworks by Precept consultant and homeschool mom here in Texas. Today we're going to take a look inside of Heritage Studies 6, Ancient Civilizations. In this course, the timeline will span from creation through the Middle Ages, giving your child a look at the ancient civilizations of Asia, Africa, Europe, and the Americas, with a focus on the biblical story of redemption. Let's take a look inside. Let's start by taking a look at the Teacher's Edition. Let's take a look inside the Teacher's Edition. We'll start with the table of contents. You'll see some introductory material as well as the chapters and the page numbers. At the end of the book, you'll have some teacher resources and then indexes. Before you begin the course, it would be helpful to take a look at the academic and worldview goals. Through this course, your child will develop social studies skills such as reading maps and charts and sequencing world events by working with timelines. They'll also cover areas of world history, geography, government, economics, and culture. You'll also want to be sure to read over the biblical worldview themes that will be covered in this course. Here you can see all of the different features of the lessons, but we're going to take a look at a sample lesson in just a minute. The instructional materials that you need for this course are your student text, your student activity manual, your teacher's edition, and your assessments. Here we have the lesson plan overview. Each chapter is laid out on one page. This is just a brief overview of what each lesson contains. There will be more detailed lesson information on each page of the Teacher's Edition. But here we have the chapter, the lesson number, the page number in the Teacher's Edition, the page number in your student text, and the page number in the student activity manual. Here you have a list of objectives that will be covered in each lesson. There are 180 lessons in this course, and most of them can be done in one day, but you will note that there are some lessons that need to be covered over the course of about 2 days. Let's take a look at a sample lesson. You'll notice in the Teacher's Edition that you will have a smaller version of your child's student text on your Teacher's Edition pages. Each chapter will start out with a chapter overview, which will give you a brief summary of the topics that will be covered through the course of the chapter. The chapter focus, which is also included on your child's student text page, will introduce the chapter's topic. You may also notice some yellow boxes that look like sticky notes. This is just additional information that will help you as the teacher locate resources or give you ideas to include in your instruction. Each chapter begins with a timeline. Each lesson will have the lesson numbers indicated at the top of the page, as well as the student text pages and the activity manual pages. The lesson focus is similar to the chapter focus and will give you a brief statement of what topics will be covered in this lesson, or in this case, lessons. Here you have your lesson objectives. This just describes what your child should be able to do or what they should understand or know by the end of the lesson. You'll see a section in some of the lessons labeled Teacher Resources and Materials. The Teacher Resources, instructional aids can be found in the back of the Teacher's Edition, and materials may be things that you need to gather or prepare ahead of time. Some lessons will have an opportunity for reviewing previous lessons or information before you start the new material. The Preparation for Reading section helps you to prepare your student for the information that's coming that they will be reading in their student textbook. This may be questions or ways of generating interest in the upcoming lesson. The Teach for Understanding section will be the majority of your instruction. While these questions are not intended to be a script that you need to follow word for word, they will help to guide you through the lesson. You'll also see the assignment for the day, which is the activity manual pages. And if there is an assessment, a quiz, or a test, that will be indicated as well. You'll also see Journey Forth book recommendations throughout the chapters and lessons. These are suggestions that will supplement what your child is learning in each chapter from a biblical worldview. In your student text, there will be pages depicting life in various parts of the world. The captions will help to describe and teach about life in that particular culture. You'll want to make sure that your child takes note of the key themes and features of these civilizations and areas. At the end of your teacher's edition, you'll have a section of teacher resources. First, we have a page explaining the gospel. I would strongly recommend reading through this page and prayerfully preparing your heart to share the gospel with your child if you haven't done that already. Next, there are several charts comparing Christianity and other world religions. You'll use these throughout the course. Next, we have a section on putting together a history fair. This can be a fun way for your child to showcase what they've learned throughout this course. You can have your child choose a particular area of the world to focus on, and then write a paper and create a display telling others about that area of the world. This could be a fun way to share what they've learned with family or siblings, or even as a project that you might put together for a co-op. All of the information that you need for organizing and putting together this history fair, including grading and judging the projects, is included for you here. And then you have a section on instructional aids. These are reproducible pages that will be referenced throughout various lessons under teacher resources in your lesson plans. The instructional aid is labeled at the bottom along with the lesson in which it's needed. These resources vary. You'll have blank pages to copy, charts and rubrics, art projects, recipes, blank charts for your child to fill in, as well as the answer key for you. After the instructional resources, you'll have a student text index. This lists all the different topics that are covered in your child's student text, along with the page numbers where those are referenced. Then lastly, we have the Teacher's Edition Index. This is a great tool as it groups all of the different activities, assessments, background information boxes, the Journey Forth recommendations, primary sources, skills, review activities, all in one place. Next, let's take a look at the student text. Here we have the table of contents, just as we did in the Teacher's Edition, with the chapters and page numbers, along with some information on the resource treasury at the end of the book. You'll see similar to the layout of the pages in the Teacher's Edition. Each chapter will start with the chapter focus and a timeline. This course begins its study of history with the biblical account of creation. You'll see pictures and maps, activity boxes, feature boxes that will offer more information or background about the culture, people, or land that you're studying, samples of art. These pages will depict a typical day or daily life in a city or region. The captions throughout the pages will help to explain different aspects of the culture or area. You'll want to take note of the key themes and features. As a teacher, you may notice this icon repeated in your student's text. These are questions that your child will want to review as they study and recall what they have learned for upcoming quizzes or assessments. At the end of the student text is a collection of resources, atlases, documents, and glossaries. You'll see the World Physical Atlas and Political Atlas, as well as a focus on particular regions. There's also an atlas for the spread and distribution of world religions, languages, climates, and land use. One of the great features of this course is teaching our children to utilize and read from primary sources. The back of the student text contains several primary source documents for our children to interact with. Following the collection of primary sources is a biographical dictionary. This lists several key figures in history with a brief explanation of who they are or what they did. Next is a gazetteer. This is a geographical dictionary or index which lists important places mentioned in the book. And then we have a glossary of different terms used throughout the course. And finally, an index with different topics arranged alphabetically with the page numbers on which those topics can be found. Let's take a look at the Student Activity Manual and corresponding answer key. The Student Activities Manual is where your student will do the majority of their daily assignments. Here we have the table of contents with the chapter titles and the page numbers where those chapters start in the activity manual. The pages assigned in the activity manual will help your child to recall and apply what they've learned throughout this course. This book will utilize graphic organizers, charts, Venn diagrams, crossword puzzles. There are pages with map comparisons. They'll have an opportunity to use the internet and do online research. The activity manual is also where the study guides are found. The study guide pages will help your child to study for upcoming quizzes and tests, as well as to review the concepts that they've learned throughout the course. At the end of the activity manual is a history timeline. This timeline can be used to help your student organize the various people, events, and civilizations that they learn about throughout this course. The answers to the work text pages are found in the activity manual answer key. The table of contents will match that of the activity manual, and then you'll see that the pages are the same. The page numbers also match the page numbers in the activity manual. You'll just see that the answers are included for you, and a copy of the timeline is included at the back of the answer key as well. In order to help you assess and evaluate what your child has learned throughout the course, you'll receive a test packet and the corresponding answer keys. The test booklet contains 32 quizzes and 15 chapter tests. The answer keys are included in the shrink-wrapped package with the blue cover.